Death, destruction, decay. Death is inevitable. But from this death comes new life.
We may end up bringing this fight to our own doorstep.
Hey guys, AJYT Abbott here, and welcome back to another Fear the Walking Dead review. This is going to be the review of Season 6, Episode 10, titled Handle with Care. And if you are not caught up currently to this episode, this will contain spoilers, because Season 6 is a very big season. We've had a lot of big events, and if you don't want to get spoiled on those events, definitely don't continue watching. Watch the episode, come back, and watch the review. So yeah, let's get into it. This is a very Daniel-centered episode, and I really enjoy that. So we kind of start off with Daniel and Morgan. There's a bit of flashbacks between Daniel talking in a jail cell to the past, I guess, because Daniel in the prison cell is in the present. He's talking about stuff in the past. Him and Morgan are just going around doing their daily things in the camp. Daniel's serving up some soup or something, I think. And yeah, it's good to see Morgan and Daniel bonding. I like those two. It's a cool team they have going there. This takes place a few months not a few months, sorry. This takes place about a month after June has shot Virginia, and Virginia's dead. I'm interested to see if they just buried Virginia somewhere, or she's just burned, or I don't know what they did with her body. That's interesting. But yeah, Daniel is kind of talking about how he was hoping that it was going to be a fresh start, for him to not have to be the man he used to be, and yeah, just start over. And he says he was wrong. Morgan is trying to micromanage the three different teams, because of course we have Morgan's group, we have Strand and his Rangers at Lawton, and we have Sherry, Raleigh, and their group, the Masked People. But Morgan's like, we're facing a threat against our own existence, and of course he's talking about the End is the Beginning group, which is going to be a huge threat in the next episode, episode 11, The Holding. But this is going to be a challenge, because these three groups don't see eye to eye on everything that's happened, especially when it came to Virginia. But Morgan's like, we need to help each other, and Strand says, it's okay that we can, I need to know that we're good to help each other out. And Morgan's like, yep, we are. So they stage a meeting. They have all of them come inside. Grace is experiencing some problems. She's feeling a little bit, not unwell, but that baby is coming. Okay, that baby is coming very soon. Possibly like episode 12. I'm guessing, because I think that one's going to be a Grace-centered episode. But Morgan's like, I know a place where I can get you the fetal monitor. That is what they need, because June is not there, and Sarah's like, it'll take a few days for June, it'll take a day or so for June to get here. So they just have Morgan go there to where he says he has a fetal monitor, get it for her, and leaves Daniel in charge. There's walkers outside the gate. Sherry and Strand are like, this isn't a coincidence, somebody, there's a possibility that someone led those walkers there. And of course Strand and Daniel have that history where Strand shot Daniel in the face, and the whole thing about Ophelia. But we do get to see Skidmark and Daniel reunite. That was a nice touch there. AMC. I don't know why I say AMC. They're the ones that just air it. But yeah, Sherry and Dwight currently aren't on the best terms with Sherry mostly kind of ignoring Dwight. Dwight's kind of trying to ease the waters with Sherry a little bit, trying to tell her to calm down when she gets out of line, and Sherry's really not having it. Charlie is, of course, really good friends and close with Daniel. Daniel does not trust anyone there, so he's going to lock up the guns, but when he sees the walkers, he decides that it's best for them to get some of them to get prepared if the walls don't hold. But he goes into the armory and sees that there's no guns. So we have a big predicament there with that. You know, who took the guns, whoever took the guns, most likely, you know, are within this camp. It's not like someone just got in and took them out, because it would be pretty much impossible to just sneak in and then sneak back out without being detected or without causing a scene. So we got a big investigation that has to be going on here. That is for certain. And Daniel, he's needing to also micromanage, like Morgan's doing, the three communities, as we have a meeting. Dakota is there, and of course Dakota, who knows what they're doing with her now, because Sarah's like, why is she here? And I was like, Sarah is a mood, because Dakota should not be anywhere near anyone here. She should be gone. But I mean, it's been a month after Ginny's death, so I assume they're just letting Dakota live here, which is some bullshit. Because John would not even gonna get into it. But they're asking Dakota if she knows anything about the End is the Beginning group, and Dakota says that Virginia was talking about maybe them holding up somewhere. So they have that information, but people start picking sides and picking fights, honestly, with Sherry's like, you know, Wes is awful quiet, and, you know, they're like, you know, maybe it was you, maybe it was you. They're all kind of turning on each other. But as this happens, an explosion occurs, and they notice that it definitely wasn't an accident. Okay? Those walkers, they're gonna start pouring in, and of course, Daniel is trying to keep everyone in line, but there are walkers, so he decides to let them in. Daniel lets the walkers in and sees if anyone fires off a gun to save anyone. Dwight almost dies, actually. But Strand shoots a gun, kills the walker, so then Daniel is like, it was you, because, of course, Daniel is just very weary of Strand and untrustworthy. So he throws Strand into a jail cell, and Strand is like, man, you know, we've been here before, we really don't need to do this again. And Daniel is just like, you know, there was this great monologue where he tells Strand of the pain that he caused him with the shooting of him in the face and the jaw. Of course, he's just making it up to kind of put on a show for Victor, but it was still cool to see that. But Victor is desperately telling, you know, Daniel, he's like, Strand is basically begging. He's like, I don't know where these guns are. And Daniel's just persisting and persisting to ask. Daniel's actually very concerned for everyone's safety, so he puts Grace, Sarah, and Charlie on this route to just leave the dam and go to this cabin, or so he thinks. We'll get on that later. But he sends them somewhere else. Morgan returns, and they go to find Grace. And when they find Grace, they don't find her in the place that Daniel told her to go to. They find her sitting on a tree log with Charlie and Sarah. And Daniel's like, why didn't you go to the cabin I sent you to? And Grace is like, you told us to stay away from that. So now, Daniel is starting to lose it a little bit. He's like, I know what I said. And Grace is like, no, you didn't mark it on the map. You told us to stay away from the cabin. And Morgan's like, you know, Daniel, what's going on, man? So, of course, they do find the guns, though. And they go back to the dam, and it's revealed that Daniel moved the guns, so they weren't missing or taken. So they have to let Strand go now, because Strand's innocent. Which, it made me happy, because I'm tired of people accusing Strand for shit. And getting pissed at him. But yeah, Daniel is slowly losing it. He joked about, well, not joked, but he was pretending to have memory loss at the beginning of the season, but unfortunately now it looks like he absolutely has memory loss, or not a complete memory loss, but some things that he's saying is getting misconstrued in his mind, so he's not in the right headspace at all times. Which it's sad because you want to see, you know, Daniel in the best of ways. You don't want to see him messed up like this. So they have him locked up, and it's revealed that the person that's been talking to him this whole time has been June, and June diagnoses him with a little bit with some memory loss. I forget the exact diagnosis, but you know, Daniel's feeling so bad. He's like, I kind of deserve this after all I've done. But Daniel actually decides to leave in the end. Strand actually offers him to go to Lawton, so that was nice of him. And there was a really nice line where Strand was like, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing this for Ophelia. That hit. That season 1 character mention. But, yeah, very touching episode. Some would call it a filler episode. I do think it was a bit necessary for the story because we are figuring out little things about the end is the beginning group, because surely, like Luciana said, that explosion was not an accident. Someone led those walkers there, most likely. But yeah, Daniel's gone. He's at Lawton. Maybe we'll see him sometime this season. I'm hoping we will in this back half. But yeah, and also I want to mention Luciana and Wes are heading to Al and Alicia, because that's why those two aren't in this episode. They are out on a run. But Al, Alicia, Luciana, and Wes are going to see the End is the Beginning group in the next episode. That's going to be very exciting. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode, as always. And take care. Goodbye.